it's Matthias from Harakiri for the Sky, and you're listening to the Dan Chan Show on Hard Rock Hell Radio.
Hey Matthias, how are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. How are you?
Very well, thank you. How's things in Austria?
Yeah, same old. Everything.
Is it still locked down, quarantined, or what's the situation?
Yeah, like we had a full lockdown until like 2 weeks ago. Then they opened some things up again, like, like skiing and everything. Now the numbers are exploding again, and probably next week we will be in the full lockdown again.
Oh God. Yes, it seems the same everywhere. Well, firstly, congratulations on your new album, Maere, which came out in February. It's an excellent album. It's had a great response, and you've even got to number 4 in the German charts. You must be really pleased.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty, I didn't expect that because, let's face it, black metal is nothing that usually is like in the top of the charts. It's not like that easygoing, radio-friendly music, but I'm, of course, very pleased about that.
One good thing about Germany is that they like what the music they like, and they champion that, rather than say places like the UK, which is like you get given what the radio give you, So the Germans have always had a good, strong rock connection.
Yeah, I think at least the Germans, they're real record collectors, and that's something that you can really see then when it comes to the charts, because it's a lot of physical copies that we sell.
Yeah.
And they are very, very good fans, let's say.
That's good.
Say like that.
And talking about collectors, they're going to have to get a double album with you guys. So it comes in at a whopping 1 hour and 24 minutes. And you guys aren't worried about listener fatigue. To be honest, when I first heard it in its entirety, I got lost in the album in a good way. You guys like a long song. Is this because it's the way you feel the songs have to be represented?
Well, I get this question a lot, and it's actually the most criticized point about everything. But to be honest, I don't get it, because I don't know if people have so little attention span. Yeah. It's also not a concept album that you have to listen from beginning to the end.
Yeah.
And also, I don't know, are people like boycotting Lord of the Rings because it's 3 hours long?
Yeah, exactly.
Attention span. I don't know. I wouldn't want to take songs off the album that I like, or shorten songs, just because people apparently think that it's too long then.
Yeah.
When we write songs in a certain period of time, then we think it belongs on the album, so we can kind of close it up and then start like in the next chapter.
Yeah.
And in that case, it was pretty long.
Yeah.
And it was, for us, it was important to include all these songs on the album. And
does it make it hard when you play live?
Yeah, it has been hard since 3 albums, because we have now 5 albums with pretty long play times and pretty long songs.
Yeah.
And then imagine a festival slot with 45 minutes, and all your songs are around 9 and 10 minutes. Then you have to think about cutting one song or making it longer and then piss off the next band.
That's right.
Or do a quick changeover and start a bit early. But it's not always easy.
I mean, to me, there's a big difference between 2018's Arson to this one. Would you agree that Arson appeared more aggressive and Maere's a bit more, say, melancholic?
I think so, yes. I think it also depends, it has something to do with the music we've been listening to, because I think we both got a bit away from listening that much metal and went a bit more into this indie rock and singer-songwriter direction. Right. And maybe that also has an effect on the songwriting and everything.
So, I mean, where do you draw your influences when you start writing?
It really depends, Sometimes I listen to, I don't know, what I like, contemporary classical music or something, or I hear a pop song, and then all of a sudden I have an idea of a melody, and then I get my guitar and write it down, and then I build a song around that melody that popped up in my head.
That's cool.
It's always very different.
And what's the lyrical content usually about?
The lyrical, okay, now I have to talk for JJ. That's always a bit hard for me because I don't want to say something wrong. But I think, it's mostly about estrangement and his friends or people close to him that died, and past relationships. And it's he said it once, his lyrics are a bit like his personal catharsis. He uses it as self-therapy to deal with things that he usually cannot talk about, and it's easier for him to just yell it out in the lyrics. That somehow apparently it's easier for him. But I think that's a good way to deal with it.
I get it. So is it an easy process recording with just the two of you? I understand you brought in like Septic Flesh, Stixman, Kerim Lechner to play with you, and you've also got members of Alcest and Maere on this album. How did the collabs come about?
I mean, if you get him, he's also Austrian, and we've known him for quite a long time. And yeah, like back in 2018, like I just asked him if he would be interested to record Arson, and that worked out really well.
Yeah.
So yeah, back then he already said he would be up to recording the next album too, and yeah, so we just did that. It's like
he's a great drummer. He's a great drummer.
Oh, he is, yeah, and a great guy too. Like he's super reliable, and you don't have to do like editing, or you don't have to use much triggering because his drum sound is just so awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Well, yes, and with Stefan from Alcest, I mean, we have been like huge fans of Alcest since years, since even before we started the band. And like we were always like some kind of fanboys of that band.
Yeah.
And over the years, we got to meet him at festivals and concerts, and he's like a fantastic guy, and we got along really well. So in fact, for this album, we just asked him if he wants to participate, and he was totally up for it, and I'm really glad that came to be.
Excellent.
And with Maere, it's like I actually know the guys since before I know the band, before I listened to the band, because my girlfriend was studying in Portugal in 2017, and there I got to know all the guys, and we became friends, and every time I went over there, we saw each other again. Yeah, and then with the new album of them, I really enjoyed it, and I thought like the voice, it's like really different to our singer's voice, and why not mix that up? Yeah, with some experiment, and I'm really glad we did it.
Absolutely. So how did it feel recording during the quarantine? Was there any noticeable difference to the previous efforts?
Yeah, that's something, because we didn't record it during the quarantine. We were already finished when it started.
Were you? Okay.
Yeah, the last part was the vocals in January, and here the first lockdown started in March, so we had even time to mix the album. Right. And it would have been impossible, because here the lockdown was so strict that you couldn't even go outside except for shopping groceries or going to the bank. Yeah. So we couldn't have it recorded. So luckily
the album must feel quite old for you now then.
Yeah, that's something that was a bit tough, because we had the album ready for like over a year, and then the release got delayed and again, and that's why I'm really happy that it's finally out.
Yeah.
Because I have something ready for so long and not being able to present it, that's also a bit annoying on you.
Yeah, I mean, also on this album, you've covered Placebo's Song to Say Goodbye. What's the story behind choosing that?
Well, I'm since I'm a little boy, practically, I'm a Placebo fan. Like, I'm a huge fan of Placebo and Deftones and bands like that.
Yeah.
And it was my plan for quite some time already to do it. And
it's a good song choice. Very good song choice.
Thank you. Yeah, I presented like 3 songs to JJ, and he said right away we have to do a song to say goodbye, because he has like a personal connection to that song, and it reminds him of that and that time. So it was quite easy to choose this particular song then in the end. And yeah, I think Placebo just fits, because even though it's a very different genre of music, it's also like very melancholic. The lyrics fit also in kind of what we do, and it's just a different interpretation, like in our style. But I think it works too, and I think that makes a cover interesting.
I mean, rather than
Black Metal's song covered by Black.
Yeah, I totally agree. With this being your 5th album, how do you feel you're evolving as you growing older in the band?
It's hard to say, because I think it's just a natural progress to mature a little bit. Maybe we just let some influences happen that we wouldn't wanted before, because we thought it would maybe go way too much from what we were initially doing, and maybe the fans wouldn't like it. And now we don't really have this fear anymore. So we try to implement everything that we kind of listen to or what we like, and maybe that also makes the sound a bit more evolved.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a good answer to that question, because it just happens,
Yeah, you got it as you grow older. Everyone's maturing, aren't they? So, I mean, I love the imagery of the album, the album cover. You always go with animals on the covers of your albums, it seems. Where did the wolf idea come from? It seems quite symbolic.
Well, yeah, it's in fact we just stuck with the idea of animals because it's just the aesthetics that we like, and we always look like for something that just fits to the lyrics. Same with the album titles, and like the wolf in the sheep's fur that's kind of skinning itself. It can be interpreted in many ways, maybe in that you're feeling different on the inside than you show to others or whatever. But I think that everyone should interpret their own imagery into that. That makes it more interesting.
So time for a bit of history on the band. How did you guys get together? I believe it was supposed to be a studio project, right? How did it become to what it is now?
Exactly. Well, we are friends since 12 years already, no, even longer now. And I played a bit before in the live lineup of JJ's other band, and we were often sitting together in the evening, drinking some beers, listening to music, and we both kind of liked the same bands at this period of time, and we thought I had some new ideas. I was in a different band at the time where I was not happy anymore with what we were doing. And so I just asked him if he wants to do some vocals over some song ideas that I had. And so I just recorded it, sent it to him, and he really liked it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we had 5 songs, and we thought it would be kind of nice to maybe have this on the vinyl. And so, we found actually our still recent label who wanted to bring it out on the vinyl. And there was already pretty good response on the internet, and then we got asked by a local promoter if we want to play live, and we actually didn't think about it yet, so we just asked some friends to plan. I mean, we only had 5 songs, but this was also almost
That's
50 minutes.
Yeah.
So practically just for shits and giggles, we played a live show, and it worked really well, and we enjoyed that a lot. So that's how this all came to be. And then there were more gigs, and
that's good.
All of a sudden, then it took up most of our time and became a full band instead of a little project that took a lot of our time. And that's what we are doing now.
So why the decision to stick to just the 2 of you and not expanding to more members? Is it just because there's less people to argue with? Less beers to buy?
That's one reason, because I'm peculiar about my songs, that I wanted exactly as I wrote it, and no one else, mixing in and giving their ideas. And when you have more full members, then everyone wants to bring something in, and that's something that I cannot really deal with. So we stuck with that to be as a studio band, us two, where we have this exact roles of him writing the lyrics and me writing the music. And and with the live band, it's just a different thing.
What's the story behind the band name? It's certainly very memorable.
Well, okay, now I have to explain again. JJ's idea, he gives different answers very often, but the one that
the latest one
was memorable to me, that was his dream, when he kind of stabbed himself, fell off a cliff, and started to fly.
Right.
Another time he gave a different answer, but I don't remember what it was. But something like that.
I'll go with that. So how do you feel about being given the title of Pioneers of the Post Movement?
I think it's funny because it's existing for much longer time already.
Yeah.
But of course, it's flattering.
Of course.
Yeah, there's so many post-rock bands or atmospheric black metal bands or so that kind of had the same ideas already before, but it wasn't really called post-black metal or post-metal back. But of course, I'm really happy that we are seen as pioneers.
Yeah.
I mean, who wouldn't be flattered?
What new music are you into at the moment? Anything caught your ear? Any new albums or bands?
Well, the new Goddess and Astronaut I really enjoyed. The new NoFX album, because I like some funk as well.
Yeah.
Then there's a band, also a 2-man project from Argentina. It's called Los Males del Mundo. Mm-hmm. That's also really good. I really recommend to check that out.
I will check that out for sure. And what's the scene like in Austria in general? Is there a good metal scene going on?
I don't know what the scene. It's there are not too many concerts here in Austria, and we don't go to metal bars or stuff like that. But there are quite a few promising young bands, for example Elende from Styria. They also make this atmospheric, a bit slower, but really atmospheric black metal. And I think that there are a lot of new bands that kind of deserve more attention, because everybody just thinks of Summoning in Belfegor and Abigor when they think about Austria, and that's pretty much it. But there's definitely new stuff coming that's very good.
So going on to touring, have you had any tours cancelled? I know that you've got your first US tour planned very soon, I believe, if it goes ahead, and you got your European tour in January 22.
Yes, I mean this tour was already now moved 2 times to European tour, Then the US tour should have happened in spring 2020. And then, we tried to move it, but we didn't even announce the new dates because it was already clear that it wouldn't be working. So now we wait until things get back to normal, and then we will announce it. But we will definitely redo the US dates as soon as it's possible.
Yeah.
And we've chosen Brazil and Turkey and wherever everything was cancelled. So.
That's cool. So, I mean, you've had some great tours in the past with the likes of Draconian and Dole. What one show really stands out to you from the past, and why?
No, I actually enjoy almost every show because it's always special to me. But what stood out for me was definitely touring China, because it was something completely new and we didn't know what to expect there. Because you cannot look anything up before on the internet because there are no Facebook events. You cannot know how many people are attending or what to expect, and no one of us has ever been in that country before, so it was a really amazing experience. And
what were the fans like?
Crazy. They are going completely crazy. That was so awesome.
Really?
Yeah. So that was definitely an amazing experience, and it's all like a totally different world over there. And that's just really exciting for us.
Amazing. And so, what's your favourite country to go and play? I mean, is this heavily reliant on who has the best beer?
The best beer, Czech Republic.
Yeah, for sure. So is Czech Republic the best place to play?
Yeah, like regular beer, Czech Republic, and Belgium with all the Trappist beers and the special strong beers. Then Belgium is number 2.
Hey, the UK have good beers as well.
I don't know. I usually drink cider in the UK because first time I was in London, I got like this Peach Warm Flats beer. Probably it was some kind of red ale, I think. And since then, I didn't drink much beer in the UK, but I've heard there's a great craft beer culture and everything. So when we get back there, I definitely have to try more UK beer.
Try it again. So do you think gigs will ever get back to what we once knew?
I shall hope so, because, I mean, as you said, you're living in Barcelona. There, I've just heard that they're doing like an experiment with like a festival where everybody gets tested before and they all have to wear masks, and then they will see if there are like any new infections. I heard on the radio about it just last week, and I think it shouldn't be a problem when you have this like tests on the same day and everyone is wearing masks. I mean, then it's not any more dangerous than going with public transportation. So just a matter of how you handle it. Yeah,
that's true. It's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, and I really hope that with the vaccination things can go back to normal. But at the speed that it's happening in Europe, it will take 2 more years.
Yeah, God. So here's a tough question for you, and I do apologise for this. You have a ton of songs to choose from, but if you had to sum the band up with one track, what would it be?
That is a tough question indeed. Okay, I have to just say, I cannot say it, but like the whole discography, I can only say about the newest songs, because it's just so much fun to play live. Or to rehearse, because we actually never played it live. No. Us Against December Skies is my favorite at the moment, but it always changes. Like when you play a song like every day, every concert, and then at some point you need like a bit of distance again to be able to like it again. Yeah. So it always changes constantly.
That's cool. Well, Matthias, thanks for the chat. Really appreciate it. Good luck with the continued success, and I'll be seeing you in Barcelona next year. Fingers crossed.
Thank you too, man. I hope to see you there. Thank you very much for the interview.